Let's try and get this thing started. So this is the first time we're trying to do this for Pickcode, like our teacher testimonial series. We're not really sure what we're going to call it yet. But Davina, thanks for coming online on YouTube, I guess. So you want to introduce yourself and like what organization are you with? You guys are a little unique, right? You're not a classroom teacher, so it's kind of interesting that we can still work with you guys.
Hi, I'm Davina. I am the computer science director of STEAMPark. STEAMPark is a nonprofit. We are an after-school academic enrichment program. So we do programs online and in person. We are a little different from other after-school programs because our main focus is STEM and coding in a holistic type of approach. We are in a couple different districts, Red Bank, New Jersey, Trenton, Jersey City, and Asbury Park. And then our online program is for girls, honestly, all throughout the United States. And we just signed on with Pickcode, I believe in the fall, in September, and we became a full-time customer in January. And that's been our coding lingo since.
Cool. Yeah. And so, I mean, I think that the interesting thing, right, is like there are a lot of these sort of like after school, like coding camps, but you guys are providing this, correct me if I'm wrong, like totally free of charge
Yeah, so
to
we
like
we
students.
try to serve low-income, underserved communities, and the goal is to give free after-school programming for our kids. I
Cool.
should mention our online program is for girls, and our in-person programs are for both girls and boys.
Yeah. No, that's really cool. And so I enjoy like since September, since we've started working with you guys, I get the like Steam Park newsletter or whatever, and it's always fun, like because you guys include the little like screenshots of Pickcode programs in the end there.
Yes.
So what were you guys using before Pickcode? Like, because obviously we started talking in September and got things rolling, but how did things work before Pickcode, and then how did they work after? Like that's kind of I think would be helpful for people.
Yeah, so before Pickcode, we were using Khan Academy. Our main coding language was JavaScript, and we used web-based, their lessons, their programs. For about 3 years, we were using Khan Academy before we made the switch to Pickcode.
Got it. And so like what was the thing that made you want to switch? Because Khan Academy is pretty cool. Like they have a
Yeah,
ton of lessons and like it's good stuff. So what were like the decision factors for you guys?
there are two things about Pickcode that really stood out to myself and my team. First and foremost, it was being able to have support Monday through Friday. Um, Pickcode's great. We get a response within
Monday through Sunday, I respond on the weekend.
Okay, Monday through Sunday. We get a response within 24 hours. I mean, I can't think of a single time that I've asked a question that has just never not been answered. And it's so quick, for myself and for my team. And even if there's not always some kind of solution, I mean, the communication is so, so important. And that's something that we didn't get with Khan Academy. There wasn't really customer support. And if there was, I mean, it would take weeks. The
Yeah.
second thing about Pickcode is what they call a student dashboard.
Yeah, I
We can
forget what we
actually
actually call
see
it in the thing. I guess it says the button says like student view, but yeah, the
student
dash.
view. We call it our student dashboard.
Yeah.
Our teachers are able to code real time with our students. So we can see students coding in live time, and we have the capability to fix their code, add comments to their code. So it really it's so helpful when you get to work, minute by minute, side by side with your student. And for our virtual girls, we have a lot, we wait, I don't want to say waste, but there's a lot of time being spent when you have to share your screen and go back and forth with how to work through projects. So the fact that our teachers can just work right on their computer with the student on their computer was our number one reason for choosing Pickcode.
Yeah, I think it is the virtual thing is interesting because like yeah, I can't imagine how many girls are in an individual section with a teacher actually. I don't know that.
Uh, Anywhere between 25 and 30 girls.
That's crazy. Like I
Yeah.
don't know how you would possibly do that with breakout rooms and sharing your screen.
And then when you think about, it's not so much with our older girls, our sixth to eighth grade girls, they become a lot more tech savvy. But when we have our youngest, which is third grade, it's not even just about coding. It's so much spent on just digital literacy and navigating the computer. So having that aspect is really nice. And then for in-person programs as well, We have upwards 30 kids in those classes, so it helps with our teachers. Instead of having to walk around and check each computer one by one, you can sit in the front and go through your dashboard. And we love to share the code on our screen so other kids can see other kids' work. So it's really nice to have that.
One thing to note is that we recently added a font size thing, just FYI.
Oh,
I don't know if you're like on the newsletter, but you can, that was a heavily requested. You can change it like if you're going to present in front of the room.
oh, wait, no, I didn't know that. That's good to know because
Just
I'm always zooming in on Chrome. Like,
yeah, and if you zoom in, right, then like the play button gets big.
yes. Oh, that's so
No,
awesome. I have to
yeah,
check
so
it
you can
out.
go into the little settings. Don't leave, we're talking right now. We have to focus, but but like in the little settings thing where you can change your color theme, there's a thing that says like
Awesome.
font size.
Yeah.
So just FYI. Because that is cool because I've been in classrooms where they present the dashboard in front, and it is cool to say like, "Hey, everybody, like let's check out what this one student was doing and like see their progress and all of that." So that is cool.
Oh, actually, on that, there's one more thing on why we chose Pickcode as well. I think being able to work or give direct feedback to Pickcode is really nice. With something like Khan Academy, they're a very, very large organization, and their focus isn't just computer science. They focus on a lot of things. So being able to talk to other coders in that coding language is really nice, and it helps to really build a platform that is accessible and easy for students to use.
Yeah. So what are the youngest? So you said third graders, but third graders aren't on Pick code, are they?
They are,
That's no, that's actually crazy.
yeah,
But
they're
so you have third graders coding in Python.
they are coding in Python.
That's wild.
They're
Well, I actually
amazing.
didn't know. I thought it was just sixth through eighth. Because so I mean, I guess at one point it was in December, right? We had the virtual fair thing.
Yes,
But those were all middle schoolers.
they were third to eighth grade. We put you with the older group. I wanted you to see the more meticulous projects.
Okay, but so there were third. Oh, you froze a little bit. Oh, no, you're back. So there were third graders presenting on Pickcode. That's
There
crazy.
were, yep. Yeah,
Cool.
yeah,
Well,
it's
I did
amazing,
not know that.
when one of the things that we really strive for at STEAMPark, I think block coding is great. I think it builds a fantastic foundation to understanding coding, but we really want to expose our girls to line by line coding. So with our third graders, it's explaining syntax, parentheses and double quotation marks and typing even at that. Once you form a basic foundation of math, which is second grade, you are able to start with the basics of coding in third grade. And when I first started working at STEAMPark, I was nervous. I said, there's no way. Like I was in high school learning coding and it was so hard, but these girls and they can do it. They can really
Well,
do
I
it.
mean, they're going to be. So I was a high school teacher for a couple of years, and they're going to be the students who are kind of like annoying, who are like so good at coding that you can't do many activities. Because like the stuff that so we'll talk about this in a second about like the lessons that you all use, but like the lessons that we have in there are also applicable to eighth graders, ninth graders, 10th
Yeah.
graders. Like they're just your intro to coding. So these these girls have like done all of this stuff already. By the time they get to high school, they're going to be like miles ahead of everybody else.
Oh, yeah. And that's the goal, to expose them before they become so set in their careers or hobbies or interests, exposing them to something that they probably never thought of before.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And so, speak on the topic of the lessons. I know that you have changed this up between last semester and this semester. So, last semester you were basically using our lessons, and then you've like recently started making your own stuff, I think. So, how's that been going?
Yeah, so our first semester with Pickcode, we used their lessons. I really just wanted to become familiar with Pickcode. Um, as I formally said before, we were teaching JavaScript, so this was our first year teaching Python. Um, I quickly, we adapted really fast, we kind of figured what works really well, where we have to spend more time on specific lessons. And then we transitioned this semester into our own projects, which I love to do. So for our STEM Girls online program, we do one big project all semester that the girls work towards. This semester in particular, they're creating a digital marketplace storefront. They are building an online shop. For our in-person students, we have a lot more time with them. So our lessons are um, they're a little shorter, but I built, so for example, when we learn about print, we kind of spend a couple projects there. When we learn about variables, we spend a couple projects doing that. And it's projects like, hey, I want you to code a Dunkin' Donuts order generator, and we print out your receipt. Last week, we did a fortune teller program using user input and variables, and the kids were learning how to print out random fortunes, for each other. So it's really nice to see real world scenarios in coding language.
Yeah, yeah, that's neat. Because I mean, I like for folks who haven't used Pickcode, like we provide just some basic Python lessons, right? And they're very like copy paste. They're like, take this line of code, put it in your code, change the one or two words, and then run it and see what happens. But I think it's very cool. Like I wanted to say when you guys first started, like make some lessons, make some more stuff, but I think it makes sense, right? Get used to it, and that's kind of why we provide those. It's like so you can just get used to the logistics of like using the dashboard and assigning stuff and all of that. But then yeah, I think the creative stuff is much more fun, and I think that's probably where the engagement happens, right?
And with Pickcode, you have your PY file, where you actually code in the editor area. But then on the right-hand side, there's a little there's like a viewing console where you can actually write steps for your students. You can include instructions on what to do. So you get to really see side by side coding and the, formal English
Yeah,
work.
it's neat. It's neat that you're able to get that done, right? Because so, like sometimes it's challenging. When I was teaching, I had like I didn't have as fancy of tools as Pickcode, so I would have like a Google Doc that said what to do, and so students would always have to like flip
Go back and forth, right?
tabs back and forth. So yeah, we like having the little instructions area inside the app, but it can't all be good. So you're not a paid actor here advertising Pickcode. So what if the like challenge has been? I'm curious because one of the things like I mean, as you mentioned, right, we provide this support and we want to build stuff alongside educators. So like what have those challenges been? Because I mean, that's going to help us figure out what we're doing for the next year or so. And don't say anything too mean, but like I'm sure there's stuff that you guys have either had challenges with or would like to see improved or something like that.
Yeah, so challenges, I want to say, I don't think it's the right word. Truthfully, we have a pretty great success with using Pickcode. Improvements, I would say, one of the things that would be really nice, we are able to form different classes within Pickcode so you can organize your students. What something would be nice if we had the ability to move students around to different classes if we had to switch them instead of putting it on the students. I mentioned our sixth to eighth graders are a lot more capable of navigating through these technical issues. But when we look at our third and fourth graders, what should take a minute to 2 minutes for ends up taking maybe 5 to 6 minutes for them. So little things like being able to have control over our teacher dashboard or teacher classroom.
Okay, yeah. So like so
Nice.
just so I understand. So you have like the Tuesday section and the Wednesday section.
So like if let's say a girl accidentally clicks the Wednesday link, but she's supposed to be in the Tuesday link, we then have to kind of go back and say, okay, no, and then
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
more hard virtually than in person.
Yeah, I get that. Okay. That makes sense. Okay, so you just basically want to drag them, or I mean, it doesn't have to be drag and drop, but like some sort of little menu to switch them over.
Yeah.
It's a good idea. Yeah, I mean, because that happens. I mean, a lot of most folks who are using Pickcode are middle or high school teachers, and so, but this, I mean, that's actually still something that happens, right? Is that like scheduling changes happen and students switch sections?
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes I have to be honest, I don't even know how it happens, but it just happens.
In your program, the students are in the wrong class. Yeah.
Yeah, you could give your teachers all the right links and put them in the right class, and somehow something will just end up in the wrong place.
Yeah, I mean, that's, it's just stuff that happens.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I don't know how long we've been talking. And again, this is the first time we're doing I don't know, what should we call the YouTube series? This is a bonus for people who make this video.
Oh man, I have no idea. I mean, oh, I have no idea.
like teacher testimonial is kind of like an alliteration, so that's cool. But that
I
kind of
like to
sounds
use the word
formal.
talk, like some kind of talk. It sounds like formal, but it's not super formal.
Yeah, this wasn't particularly formal, so we're gonna have to work that out. Do you have any other? I don't know if you have any other thoughts or whatever you want to share, but I mean, I really appreciate the time. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
of course. Um, I would just say maybe to any person who's thinking about trying Pickcode, give it a try. Like it really is a great way to introduce coding without overwhelming the students. You know, you have control over their lessons and their dashboard, so they don't have to be looking at 100 different lessons, kind of like how you would see with something like Khan Academy. So I think having that structure helps build them that confidence, and it's flexible enough where you have the ability to put your own teaching style on your lessons.
That's,
Yeah.
you know, couldn't say it better myself. So I appreciate the little advertisement there. But yeah, I guess this video was sponsored by Pickcode because it's going on the channel. So
No, I just as a side, like I really, believe in what you guys do. I'm a big believer in just supporting, like smaller developing companies rather, I think it's great. So I'm really
hey,
happy to be a customer. Again, totally off the record, don't have to win the video, but just letting you know.
no, no, I'll keep that in the video. Anyways, well, so it's been great chatting. Thank you again so much for the time.
Of
And then, you
course.
know, keep sending us like the dragging the students between classes. It's a great idea. And so keep sending us.
I don't want to overwhelm you. Like, it's because I don't want it to seem like I'm picking on it or trying to say, like, we need this. It's just, it's
It's a
just
good
little
idea.
things.
Like, I mean, that's what we wanted. Like, we don't, we kind of run out of like the immediate obvious stuff to do. So now it's
I
kind of
understand
like
that.
cool things. And like, we don't want to invent stuff. Like, we want to do things that people actually need and are actually
Okay.
there for. So, no,
Okay. Good
it's
to
actually
know.
super helpful.
Cool.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks
Yeah.
again.
Good luck with it. I hope it goes well.
Yeah. Okay. Great. See you later.
Bye.
And then I'll pause, I'll pause the recording